All right. Good evening, guys. Please let me know if you can see my screen, probably in the message box or just on mute. Let me know if you can see my screen. All right. So good evening to everyone. Apologies on the change of time as it came late. There was some issues, but basically today is the last day on today is the last day on CSS. And basically instead of me going about probably how will I put it, trying to teach something. The major thing I'm going to do is do a proper recap. When I mean do a proper recap, I'm going to be practicing it by actually building something, most likely. So I'm not really sure about what we're going to work on because there are so many options of things to work on. But what we're actually going to be doing today is replicating a, should I say, quite a popular site so that we can learn different types of layout system, how to use our CSS targeting, and also learn about media queries. Basically, so without wasting much of our time, as we've wasted a lot of time, I'll just start immediately. So I hope you guys can see my screen. Very important. This is a new folder. I hope you guys can see my screen. Somebody should just use the message box because I'm keeping the VS Code side by side with the message box. So I will not really see any kind of reaction. So if you can see my screen, please just let me know. Okay, I hope you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Okay, okay, wow.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
All right. Started with like 70 something, now at 14. Crazy stuff, right? Interesting. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, it's not everybody that can start and finish. Basically, that's always how it is. So I'm not going to waste more time. I'll just proceed now. So this is my VS Code. I created a folder called Bootcamp CSS. So basically, I'll be doing from scratch. So I'm going to first of all create a file I want to call index.html. Right. Then I'll create another file I want to call my main.css. So there are basically two ways you can style my shift exclamation. There are basically two ways. There are basically two ways I can rather three ways I can add my CSS to my HTML through external style sheet, through internal styling, and through inline styling. So I hope we all know the difference. Definitely we know the difference. So what by creating this folder here, what I'm actually trying to do is actually create an external style sheet. So I'm doing an external styling system. But if I didn't create my main.css here, I can just come after my head and create a tag called style and style whatever I want to style here. This is what I call internal styling, basically. Well, I will not do this because this is not good programming practice. Just like I will not advise us to be using div everywhere you want to see deep, basically. So yeah, and the third type of styling is basically doing an inline styling of coming here and doing style. Then after you do style, you do display this and that for each and every tag we want to work with. That's very tedious. That's not neat. And you should understand that anything you put as an inline styling takes precedence over any form of styling. So if for example I give this a color, let's just say color, I give this a background color of, let's say, red. And all right, let me rename my title. Very important. Um Scamp CSS. All right. So let me just add, give me a minute. So yeah, if I link if I link my CSS now, basically this is me linking my CSS. If I do this, remember I gave this a background color of red. Right? If I open my live server, for example, now starting live server, so I hope you guys can see my scarcity machine. You can see that everywhere is red, right? Everywhere is so red, and that's because of the inline styling here. So if I come to my external style sheets, and I also pick that same body tag and give it a background color of white, and I come back to it, you can see I'm refreshing. But what's happening? The inline styling is over um taking precedence over the external style sheet. So if I name this blue, just to for us to be sure, and I come to refresh, you can see that is the inline styling that's taking precedence over the rest. And that's basically how it works. So when you when you need to use, or when the situation that gives you an opportunity to use an inline styling is for styles that you do not want to change across all screen sizes. Like if I decide that my body, everything must have a font size of 12, I can just come and put it in my inline. So that no matter what happens in my external style sheet, it's not going to affect this one. That's basically how it works. Okay. So that's one thing you should note. So the most used practice and the most used way of styling is external style sheets, so that it helps with easy understanding, so your whole code not be looking like as if you're writing with Tailwind CSS or you're writing with Bootstrap, but that's what makes it different. External style sheet in Tailwind and in Bootstrap, most of their styling are inline. They're always inline. When you use Bootstrap or Tailwind CSS, you do not need to create an external style sheet for that. I can just put on my style inside here, right? That's basically how it works. So if I take out this styling, the body is supposed to turn to blue. Now it's blue. You can see why it is loading as I'm changing it is because my autosave is on. As you can see, my autosave is on. So you can just put your autosave on, and any change you make will reflect. So that's another thing I like to mention. So also I like to mention the effect of class and ID. So now if I give this a class of let's say I give this a class of body body container, right? Oh wait, what instead of doing this, let's create let me create a section. I create a section and let me give this section a class of let me say hero container, hero page. Let's say hero page container basically. And I also give it an ID of hero page, right? So when I come to my, let me do this side by side. It looks tiny, but I'll just do side by side. Let me increase this a little bit for you. I just want you to be seeing what's happening on the screen a bit. If I come to my external style sheet. All I just have to do is target my class. And we target class by using dot. So if I do dot hero page container and I give it a background, I give it a background color. Okay, I'll give it a height. Let's give it a height so we can see it. I'll give it a height of 300 pixels. I'll give it a width of 300 pixel, right? Now, what makes this, what I actually wanted to explain is the precedence of ID over class. So just in case you have an ID in your tag and you have a class and you're wondering why the styling you have put on your class is not working, it's because of the ID is saying a different thing, especially if you're targeting the same styling. So if I give this a background color of, let's say, red, right? We can see this is the red box that I created, right? And I come below and I give it to target my ID. I use hash. I give it hero page and I give it a background color of, should I say, yellow. Now you can see that I have the two styling here, but the ID took precedence. Let me check if you guys are still following me. Wow, a lot of people to admit. Are you guys still following? Are you guys following me? John Base, can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah.
All right. So, like I was saying, you can see that the ID tag took precedence over the um the class tag. So that's another thing you should note. Just like the inline CSS takes precedence over the external style sheet, the ID they are giving it takes precedence over the what, the class. So this is another way to do it. So if for example now in my section tag I have let me see I have a let's say I have a p tag and I said for the p tag I'm going to write, let me say, this is a boy, this is a boy, right? And I want to replicate this three times and say this is a girl and this is a boy girl. Now these are three sentences, right? Now what I want to, the reason of doing this now is that I want to show you guys how um to target your CSS tags. There are various ways. So now let's note something. If I if I want to target this p tag, yeah, I could decide to do it because of I have only one section tag in my body. I might decide to say, okay, section and p. Once I do section and p, it means I'm targeting this three p tag inside. So let's find out. Let me give it a font size of, let me say, 25 pixel. Now you can see that it increased the size of everything. You can see it increased the size of everything. Why? Because when I selected section, I was talking about this section. And when I selected p tag, I was talking about all the p tag inside this section. So whenever you choose a tag here, the next thing you are putting close to it should be something inside the first tag. I don't know if that's making sense. Should be something inside the first tag. Now let me show you another thing. If I just pick p tag now, for example, and I put font size 30 pixel, let's see what happens. You see that it did not change. Why did it not change? Because this took precedence over this. Why is that? This is much more direct. With this, you are stating exactly which p tag you are targeting. So you are going from section to p tag. But this one, you are just saying all the p tag in my whole browser, let's say, be 30 pixel. That can't work like that. If this was not present, let me comment this out. It's going to now actually affect it. It got bigger. But once this is present, this has no effect. So when you target your HTML tag, by taking it step by step from the container to the sub-container to the final element you're trying to target. It takes more precedence over you just writing that particular tag out, basically. So that's another thing I wanted to mention. So if, for example, now I had two section tag, let's create another section tag, right? And I have another p tag, and I said my name is John Bays, yeah, and I replicate it, for example, into three places. You can see that this section p tag is still going to affect this one, because what am I saying here? I'm saying that every element, every tag in my HTML code that contains section, and also within that section that has a p tag, that the font size should increase to 25, right? Let me try a color red now. Let's give it a color red. You can see that everything changes to red. Why? Because I'm targeting all the p tag that is inside any section tag in my HTML. So that's another way we can target it. That's another way we can target. So if I decide that okay, I want to target only this first, only this first, this is a boy. I don't want to target all these ones. I just want only this first one to be there. What I'm going to just do is, instead of doing section p tag, which is going to affect everything, I just want only the first one. I'm just going to do section p. Section p means I'm targeting all this p tag inside this section, but I'm now going to make it specific by giving it an nth child, call it 1. When I do this and I give it a font size of, okay, let me not give font, let me give it a color. Let me give it a color of blue. You can see that it changed only the color of the first one. I hope you guys are following. Okay. Now you guys are following, right? You know I have to toggle between screens, so I need to know when you guys are following up. Can give me the thumbs up if you can still hear me. All right, that's great. That's great. So yeah, let's proceed. So basically, that's another thing you should note about targeting. So if I change this to 2 to target the second one, if I change it to 3, target the third one. So these are things you should know about targeting. All right. So another major thing I was going to discuss today was animation, and I'll talk more on media queries. That's responsiveness. I'll talk more on wrapping, flex wrapping. Then I'll also teach you guys a very good practice. Now, before I continue, or rather, let's build something. Someone wants to join. Aja Anthony, you have a question? I'm listening. Aja Anthony, you raise your hand. What's your question?
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you, Aja Anthony.
That NTH, what is the meaning there?
The NCH is more like the number. They're looking for, like now I have three tags inside my session tag. NCH child means what child element do I want to target? Do I want to target the first child, the second child, or the third child? So the number in the bracket will state which particular child you want to target. So if I put 1, it means I'm targeting, like this N here is being replaced by this number here. So if I put 3 here, it means I'm targeting the third child of section P. So if P was up to, let's make P like 6 now. Once I target, once I put 6 here, You see that what happens is that it's the sixth one that gets the color blue. If I put it on 5, you can see that it's the fifth one that gets the color blue. I put it on 4, you can see it's the fourth one that gets the color blue. So this end child is like targeting the child of that particular section that you want to give the styling to. So it's much more better than coming to your HTML and giving it, okay, this one is class P1. You go to the next one, class P2, class. No, that's tedious. That's tedious, and it would not make your HTML look like HTML. I'm much more after neat codes and the rest. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Aja Anthony.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, so I just want to put it out there that I'm a major fan of Flexbox. I don't fancy grid, though some people fancy grid, but I'm a major fan of Flexbox, and I'm going to show you some magic that we can do with Flexbox. And I know Chibzo mentioned some part of it on extended to media query, but I'll also be looking into that because basically, when it comes to even your responsiveness, you need to actually have a very aligned Flexbox. So I'm just going to replicate something that looks like a YouTube homepage on a desktop view, and we're going to make it look responsive on the mobile view. So let's get into that straight and direct. So I this class basically is going to cover a lot, from styling to media queries to flexbox to border box sizing, a lot of things basically. So I believe it's a very hands-on project that could help us like really understand what is going on. So I'm just going to clear all my styling. I'm going to clear this too. Basically, I'm also going to clear this starting from scratch. So basically, the first thing I do before I write my CSS is add my asterisks, open my tag, I give it imagine 0, and I give it a padding 0. Now, and I also give it before I forget the most important part. It is, can anybody at all? You could just try. How can we apply the number without it reflecting in our code? I don't really understand this question, Naomi.
Okay, you are talking about class number one. When that color to be on the sixth sentence, you put number six, something like that. So I just want to know how you can apply that without it showing on the code. You get?
So I can't really. Is it? I don't know about the class.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to like set a class in the HTML, but you don't want it to be on the HTML. Is that what you're asking?
Something.
Now my idea. I'm trying to understand your question.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I'm asking.
Okay, you basically do that with JavaScript. If you want to add a class to a tag or an ID to a tag, and you don't want it to be on your HTML code, probably do that with JavaScript. So when you learn about JavaScript, you do documents dot set class attributes, blah blah blah, all those stuff. You know how to add a class to a HTML code without actually writing class in your HTML. So I asked, does anybody probably would know maybe why I do this? Probably if you have gone through tutorials online and you notice that people do this a lot. Now I'm going to explain, or should I use an explanation to explain? Okay, now let's do something. Let me make an H1 tag, and I said blockchain blockchain UNN. Now this is my H1 tag, right? Let me comment this code out so that I don't have any styling at all. Right? This admitting is distracting me. So now if I come to my, you can see this blockchain UNN. Now for some reason, this thing is not coming to the edge. That means it has a certain amount of border. It has a certain amount of margin and padding. Now let me apply this stuff I wrote in my code because I'm trying to deal with raw data. I want it to be completely raw. I want anything I'm adding should be me that added it. I don't want any kind of assistance. So if I uncomment this thing now, you notice that this goes back to the edge. It kills the border. So what this asterisk does is that it targets every single thing in my code. Be it the body tag, H1 tag, P tag, small tag, strong tag, bold tag, section tag, main, every single HTML tag that is inside this body, it will target it and give it this. Now, why do I go with box sizing, border box? This is because if I give my tag a width of 60% and within that same container, I want to add a padding, I don't want it to be increasing away from my 60% because of my margin padding. I want the padding to be inside that 60%. That's why I use box size in border box, meaning that every other thing I do inside my container remains within the width I established to my container. It does not go beyond. So if I give it 50%, any other thing I'm putting inside, instead of it growing in width, to be growing in height. Why? Because it helps so much when you're trying to work with responsiveness, and you're going to see the effect of that. So this is basically why I do this to target all my HTML tags, basically, so that I have pure data. I don't want them add any margin for me. So when I'm trying to shift this towards this place, I'm wondering why it's not shifting. It's because of the default margin and padding that comes with each HTML tag, basically. So let's just get on with it. So the first thing I'll do, because I'm also a very big fan of HTML semantics, is that I'm going to create two sections. Now the first section is going to be my header, and in my header I'm going to have my H1 tag. My H1 tag, I'll call it U2, right? Now I'm going to create my second section, and in my second section is where I'll have all my videos, right? So let's say I give it a main tag of, okay, this is my second section. Yes, I give it an article tag because now this is like the body of my section. I call it article, and within my article tag I can now give it main tags. I don't really know how to use these. Trust me, I don't know how to use div. So if you're not really getting what I'm doing here, you could just use div. All this article main section address, you could just use div. But I don't really know how to use div. I prefer using semantics. So within my main tag now, let's make the main tag, and let's say within my main tag, I'll give it a p tag of, I'll call it video one, right? Then I'm just going to replicate this main tag, just replicate it. Now I'll give this video two, give this video three, give this video four, give this video five, and give this video six. Now I have six videos. So what I want to do is that I want to establish, the first thing I want to do now is let me arrange my header, which is my first section. I want to arrange this section. That's the first thing I want to do. So I could do it two ways. I can decide to say body, then do section, then do end tag and put one. Okay, meaning I'm targeting the first section of my body, right? Or I can decide to come, give it a class name and call it header section. sorry, call it header section, right? So when I just come here and I put it, and I'm targeting my header section. So the first thing I want to do is put it in the middle. Yes, let me just reduce this way, make it a little bit bigger for us. I hope we're still following. All right. Okay, we're still here. So basically, first thing I want to do is arrange my header section. So I want to push it to the middle. Let it be at the middle, right? So basically, I can decide to just target the H1 tag direct and say text align center. Like now, for example, if I do my header section H1, I can just come and say text align center. Probably just goes to the middle. That's basically it. And within this, I can say, okay, I want to add a margin to the top of it and to the bottom. So it's just the fact. So I can just say margin block. If I do my margin block means up and down. So I do margin block, let's say 2 rem. So it gave it a space. Oh, let me just do this so you guys can see what I'm talking about. 1 pixel solid. Now see what happened. If I take this out, the margin block, you can see that everything is close together. But once I give it the margin block of 2 rem, it gives it space on top and above. That's basically it. Then let's add a font size of let's say 30 pixels. This is our header. Let's give it a font width, let's say 700 to make it bolder. Because basically it's a H1 tag. Let's give it the font. I don't really have any font family here. Times New Roman. That's cool. So now I've added I've centered my um, header tag, right? I'm just doing this plain. Do I need to? Okay, let me give the first letter a color of red. Let's give the first letter a color of red. So I'll do header sec H1. Now I'll do first letter, right? Then when I do this, I can say color red. Or I can even increase the font size. It's a font size of 40 pixels. Let's be different. Now I've given it, I just targeted only the first letter. That's what I did. So I don't really like red. So let's do a touch of something else. I don't know. Let's just play with the color. I wish we use red. Red is not red in Sha, but let's use the red. So that's basically it. I'm just going to leave the border around, this border around, so we can see the difference, right? So the next thing I want to do now, I've dealt with my header section. Let me call this the header section. Header section starts, and I come here and I say header section ends, right? So within this place now, this is going to be my body. Let's say body begins, just to differentiate it for you people so you can understand. Body begins and body ends. So the first thing I want to do is that I want to make each of these my main tag, which is inside my article tag, have a video kind of height and width, just a little frame. So because of I want to do this for every of my main tag, I'm just going to target my main direct. So we're going to do this way. So I have only one article tag in my HTML. So I can decide to say article and say main and give it a, let me use the border for example now, 1 pixel solid, right? You can see it gives everything in 1 pixel solid. That's because when I said article, I have only one article tag. So you just targeted, just look for the article tag and targeted all the main inside. But then again, don't just jump into it like that. Label your work properly. So I can give this my section a class of, let's call it the body section. Let's call it the body section. So I can just come and target it. Let me say body styling begins. So we can have full understanding. And I'll just give it a body section. Now that I've targeted my body section, first now to just give it a border because I want something that you will understand line by line. So I'm adding all this border so you can see what I'm targeting. Now you can see that body section, just give this a border, right? I want to add space beside it. Remember when I wanted to add space on top and below, I use margin block. But if I want to add space at the side now, I'm going to use margin inline and I'll give it, let's say, 2 rem. So it gives it space at the sides. Basically, that's just it. So I think 2 rem isn't much. Say 1 rem. Okay, that's fine. So you can see that you just look at this border. You can see what I'm targeting. This body sec now, this section. Look at the border around to know the one I'm working with. Now the next thing I want to do now is target each and every one of the main inside the body section. So I'll do body section article main. Why am I this specific? Why? Because when we're dealing with long amount of data, we need to be very, 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 very specific. So we don't have CSS crashing everywhere. You are putting H1 tag here. You are putting H1 tag in another place, and you're coming to your style and writing H1 tag font size 20 pixel. You now go to line 35. I still put H1 tag font size 21 pixel, expecting it to affect the second H1 tag and not the first H1 tag. It's not going to work like that. So always be specific because anything you write only it would affect everything. So follow the right way. You're not rushing anywhere. Follow the right way. Body sec, article, main. Follow the right way. So I want to give this a height of 300 pixel and a width of, no, I'll not give it a width yet because I want to show you something. So I'm going to give it a border so we can see what we're talking about. I'm going to give it a border of 1 pixel. Sorry. I think 300 pixels is too much. Let's give the height of 200 pixels. Side by side. I want it to be side by side, like side by side. So I'm going to now make use of what? Flex. Now, where am I targeting my flex? I'm targeting my flex at my body article because my article is what contains all my main tag. So the first thing I'll do is display flex. So once I do display flex, you can see as everything just align themselves. And this display flex comes with a default flex direction of row. So if you can see if I add row, nothing is happening. So but if I change it to column, it's going to now spread back. It was. So it gives it a default of row for the flex direction. So let me just change that back to row. So remember, I've not given it a width. That's why it looks so jam packed like this. But why won't I give it a width? Why don't I want to give it a width? First of all, before talking about width, let's separate each of the main tag. So let's say I give it a cap of 2%. Okay, that's fine. Just give it a gap of 2%. But I want it to be bigger than this. So now is where the whole width of a thing comes into play. Now instead of me to probably give it a width in pixel or anything, I just want the width to. Because not only am I thinking about the desktop view, I'm also worried about the mobile view. I don't want something that will stress me, something that will start patching so it can fit into the mobile. I want something that will be sleek and smooth as I transition into mobile. So that's why I've not yet given it a width. Hope you guys are still with me. It's Daniel Anekwe. You have a question? I can hear you. Daniel, are you there? You have a question? I can hear you.
I didn't raise up my hand.
Your hand is raised up.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay, all right. But you can hear me, right? Everybody can hear me, right?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Loud and clear.
All right. So let's proceed. Now, instead of me just giving it a width of, let's say I give the width of, because what I'm trying to show you is best practice. I learned this out of experience. So if they give, instead of giving the width of 300 pixels, I'll prefer not to. Let's change it to 500 pixels. Are you seeing what's happening? You can see that no matter the amount of pixels, it's not going beyond the whole. It's not going beyond the article tag. It just stays within that range. That's why I will not really work with pixel, specifically pixel for width. Now, let's understand something. The whole of this article now, let me remove this border box. Now, let me give this a border box, a border, sorry, of 1 pixel solid. Let me take this out. Let me take this out. Now, by default, this our block session article, the default width is 100% by default, right? You need to section this thing like as if you are sharing orange with your siblings. You cut this part to make sure it's equal. Now, if I have 100% as my total width and I want to give the tags, that's my child elements, that's all this main tag, which is inside the article, a different width. I want to ration it to be equal. I don't want a situation whereby when I'm trying to go into phones, one is looking bigger than the other or longer. I want it to be equal. So I check it that okay, by default now, the width of my article is 100%. How many percent do I want to give each main tag within this 100%? Now there are 6 tags. I can decide to say instead of giving it a width of 500, because imagine if I change this thing to even 800 pixels, you will not see the effect. It's just there. So now the best way I can do this, I have how many main tags? I have one, I have two, I have three, I have four, I have five, I have six. So I can decide to say instead of giving it a weight of 800 pixels, that not even affecting it. I can just do calc. That's calculate 100% divided by 6. What it just does that immediately just gives it, let's add a border, gives it that perfect width, that perfect width. Now if I change this to let me say 100% divided by 7, there's going to be an extra space. You can see if I change it to 8, it's going to keep reducing. That's basically how it works. But now I use 6 because I have only 6 main tag, right? But then again, why is everything not going exceeding this box? Why is it just there? Even if I put 1,000 pixels, why is it not exceeding this box? It's because of this effect that I'm using here. If not, we'll be having an overflow. I don't know if that's making sense. If not, we'll be having an overflow. Like it will be going to this direction. Like you'll be having overflow, basically. So this is actually the default according to CSS3. This is the default box sizing. But when I started programming, if it was not in border box, you'll be getting overflow like so long. Like your page will try to be going sideways. So basically now, like I said, this is the best practice for you to give it a certain width. But if I don't want it to be, I want the width to be as big as 30% of the whole 100%. I decided that okay, I don't want to do a calculation because I'm not trying to get a perfect width. I just want each of my main tags to have a width of 30% of my page. I can just come and do 30%, but it's not going to reflect until I add what we call flex wrap, and I'm going to put no wrap. Sorry, I mean wrap. What it does now, as we can see, is that it breaks it down into the next line. I don't know if that's making sense. Breaks it down into the next line. So, in as much as this is 30%, if I decide that okay, I want to reduce my screen, you can see it just keeps giving it that. So imagine as small as I go, basically, it just keeps reducing the size of it. That's basically how it works because of that flex wrap. So I'm going to give my main tag a margin block. Margin block of one range should be okay. That's up and down distance, so you can give it that separation. So now this is actually how 30% is. Let's find out. So let's say I change this to 50%. Still going to wrap it. Takes 50% of the page and it wraps it. Now normally I said this is 100%, right? Why is this place 50% and why is the other 50% not entry here? Basically because of what this gap of 2%. So if you take a gap of 2% out of 100%, we're having 98% left. So if I give this a width of 48%, it should enter the two. You can see it's a perfect boxing. Side by side, everything is so equal. Everything is perfectly so equal. 49 because 100% minus 2% is 98%. 98% divided by 2 is 49%. So if I just want both of them to enter the 100%, I'm going to add that 49%. If I take out this gap, and I give this 50%, you will see that it will enter, but we don't have any gap in between. As you can see, there's no gap in between. So because of I'm administering a gap of 2%, I have 98% left of my article to work with. I can just give it a tag of 49% and it gives the perfect aligning, right? So now I just want to work with I want it to be four box per row. I want it to be 4 box per row, and I have only 98% left. So 98 divided by 4, that should be. Let's look at a car. Or you might be asking, why am I treating this thing like maths? Why am I doing like this? It's so that you don't have problem with this one being longer than this one. If I give it a width of okay, I'm giving it 2% for each gap between each main tag. That's after this particular main tag, I have 2%. After this particular main tag, I have 2%. So if I want four tags to be in there, that means 8% of my 100% is already gone because I'm putting space in between. So I'll just do that and so I'll be giving it a width of 23%. So I should be having 4 tags perfectly aligned within each of my box. So let's give let's give this a 0. So justify content center. So when I did justify content center, you saw what happened. There was a space in here, but I wanted everything to be in the middle. I just did justify content center, and it came to the middle. So that's basically it. So within each of my box now, I want to put my video tag in the middle. So whenever most times we use flex or apparent box, margin auto does not necessarily work. So what I'll do in this situation is I can decide to use position or I can decide to use flex again. How do I use flex again? Very simple. Display flex, align items center. justify, content, center. It goes to the middle. As simple as that. Everything is in the middle. That's basically it. If anyone wants to join, all right. So I want to give each and every one of these my box a color to just differentiate it. Let's make the box. Since I'm putting four in one line, let's make everything eight. So I'll call this seven. I'll call this eight. So I have eight boxes here. So I can decide to start targeting, like giving to target each of these men. I can decide to do this, and I'll just do ent child one. So this one is for the first child. Let's give it a background color of green. Let's Then I could just replicate all of this. Let me say eight times because I have eight box. So I'll just come here. I'll change this one to two. I'll give this one a color of tomato. I'll change this one. I'll give it a color of gray. This should be three. Should be three. Change this to four. I'll give this a color. Let's say red. I change this to five. I'll give the color of black. Let me give the text color a color of white so we can see it. I'll change this to six. I give it a background color of so that color say purple. We change this to seven. Give it a background color of blue. I change this to eight. What color should I give it? I give the color of cyan. So you can see different rainbow color thing everywhere. So you can see the perfect alignment I'm getting for this thing, right? So if now let's go into the responsiveness part now. Let me remove all this border I'm adding everywhere. I was adding it so that you guys can see what I'm doing step by step. Let me take this out. Let me just comment it out because when I remove it again and I comment this out, I think I have one more border up here. That's my header. Where's my header section? Yes, this is it. I comment it out. So this is us without any of those border. This border was just for us to remove. So somebody might unmute there. Someone was raising their hand now. Yeah, Tochiku, what's your question?
So please, can you hello?
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
No, I'm
Sorry,
struggling to hear. I'm not sure your voice is
can you
breaking.
hear me right?
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, my
I can
question
hear you now.
was, please, I don't know, don't understand how you made that box. Then another thing, does that RAM, does it kind of have a, okay, I think it's for measuring, how do you say it's for measuring? It's for measuring margin blocks.
Hey, measure, right?
Margin block. Yeah.
Rem is a type of measurement, just like we have centimeter, millimeter,
Okay, that's
pixel.
when you're dealing with margin block, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
not
okay, well, I
necessarily.
think,
Anything that has to do with measurements, you can use Rem.
okay. The thing is,
Yeah,
like, how
anything
did
that has
you
to do with
make
measurements.
that box? I did not really get that part very well.
Okay, okay. I'll recap
Okay.
on that.
Yeah?
Any other question, anybody? All All right, so let's do a quick recap. Now, how I did the box. Each of these main tag is a box. Is the box. Each of these main tag is the box. So how I actually formed the box was this is the CSS targeting the main tag. I gave it a height of 200 pixels and I gave it a width of 23%. So that's what brought about the box. Let's look at this now. If I take it, if I take this height out, you can see how everything looks like. So I just gave it a height of 200 pixels. If I take out this width, it's not
I
going to
think
have any
I
width.
think your voice is cracking. Oh.
My voice is cracking. Is that what you said? Can everybody hear me clearly? Let me know if it's a general issue. How many
Sometimes it
can
did
hear?
crack, but it's not cracking now.
All right, all right. Thank you for your response. So basically, now I want to go further into the the media query part of that, the responsiveness part of it, right? So before let me inspect this page. So as you can see that I inspected it. Right now I'm dealing with a sorry about that. I'm dealing with a width of 100 pixels, which is the standard font size. The very standard. Someone wants to join by this time of the call. That's crazy. Hmm, okay. So you can see that the moment I just change, no matter how much I increase it, just aligning the sweetness of Flexbox, especially when you can get the perfect width, giving the perfect width. My header is still aligning. So let me reduce this further so you can actually see a full phone view, right? So let me say 400 pixel, the standard Android size. 400 pixels is a very standard Android size. Let's go for that in. Now, what I want to do now is that I don't want this to be side by side. I want this to come down. One box per line. One box per line. So it's a very simple thing. Now let's watch it with the code. So I'm just going to close my HTML so I can put this side by side. Let's give it a expansion in this case. Alright. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is I want to work with 400 pixels. So I'll do at media screen. In this screen, I'll replace it with max width 400 pixel. Now I'll go back to the tag, which is this my article tag that contains all my main tag, which I gave a flex direction of row. Remember, this is what is containing all the main tag. So I'm just going to copy what I targeted there. I come inside my media query and I paste it and I open a tag. Then initially I give it a flex direction of row. So all the tags, all the child elements of my article tag is arranging themselves row by row. But I don't want that anymore. I want them to be arranged column by column. So I'm just going to come and the only thing I'll do is just flex direction column. But once I do this, we'll notice that the width will still remain at 23%. Let's see. So you can see that the width still remains at 23%. Right? But everything I did, I'm aligned. What's the next thing I do? It's very, very, very straightforward. Now, look at this. I'll just come and copy the main tag that I gave the width to. Just copy it. And I come down. Once I paste it, I open my tag and I give it a width of 100% to cover the whole screen. Now, we just how many lines? 66 to 73. With just 7 lines of code, I've been able to arrange everything perfectly. So these are just different videos. It's just as easy as that when you understand how to use Flexbox. Just as easy as that. So if I and this will apply for any width from 400 pixel and below. Let's check it out. So if I keep reducing this, keeps maintaining it, you can see we're at 200 now. We're at 200 and one. There's no phone at 190 something. I think the minimum is 320 or so. So you can see. But once I go above 400 pixels, it goes back. Once I come down below 400 pixels, be watching my measurements here. Be watching my measurements here. So once I go above 400 pixels, it goes back to normal. Once I go above. So I want to work for, let me say, a tablet view. So I can just copy this again. Just copy it, come down, just paste it, and I'll change my width to, let's work with 1024 pixel. Use a standard tab size. So what I can just do is give it the same style. But I don't want to give it the same styling. I still want it to be raw, but I want to reduce the width of each one. So let me take this now. So let's take this now to 1000 pixel. I don't want it to look like this. I want it to still be row by row. So I can just give it a flex direction of row. And I'll just reduce my width. Let me say I want only two videos per section. So and I have 2% gap. So I'll just use 49% should solve the 49% should solve the problem. As simple as that. And I have the videos side by side. So anything I do between 1000 and between 1000 and 24, between 1000 and let's see, this is 1024. Once this goes above, it changes back to this. Once it goes below, it changes back. Once it goes below, it changes back to this. So anything between 1004. Now look at what will happen now. If I get to 400, notice that the styling I put at max with 1004 is taking effect because at 400 you should break down and take 100% weight instead of this. Right? So this is what we're going to look at now. I'm going to look at limiting media query. So instead of me just adding a max width of width put and open bracket mean width of 401 pixel, not 400 pixel, 401 pixel. Let's see if it takes place now. Let's reduce it to 400 pixel. Let's see if it works. So you can see once it got to 400 pixel, just change back to normal. So let's look at 401. So once it goes to 401, change back to design. When it goes to 400, change back to this. So I'm already spreading my design across. So let's say I'm going to 1400 pixel, which is a standard laptop size. If you look at this now, once I reduce, goes to 1000 something, it changes. Once I reduce, goes to 400 something, it changes. And look at how easy it is to just make your stuff respond to different screen sizes instead of always fixing it, patching it, saying margin button, this one should shift left, this one shift right. You can avoid all those stress if you can calculate the weight of whatever you are doing very, very, very well. So that's basically it on styling with Flexbox and making sure you understand your width measurements. Also understanding that it's better, it's good practice of how to target each and every one of your tags basically. How to apply like now look at this asterisk now. What styling should I give to it now? So you can see that it affects everything inside. Let's see what styling now. Let me increase the font size of everything. Font size of everything should be 40 pixels. Let's see how it looks like. Can see how big everything is. The whole thing just changed back to just changed to 40 pixels. Why? Because this asterisk just affects everything. in your everything in your HTML. That's what the asterisk does. I just take it out back and just goes back to normal. So that's basically it about today's class. I hope somebody was able to learn something new. I hopefully were you guys able to learn something new at all? Anybody? Okay, nobody learned something new. Everybody know it. No wahala. Any question at all? I'm entertaining questions. Any question at all? Can ask me any question at all. Aja Anthony, I'm listening. What's your question?
Yeah, thank you, sir. How did like the time that you wanted to start writing your code for HTML? There's something that you just press, the thing just brought out doctor, brought
Oh,
out this
okay.
metal and the rest. So how did you do it?
All right. Let's create a new HTML. Let's see. I'm calling this index 2.html. So what I just do is shift. Once I hold shift, I press one exclamation mark. Once you can get this exclamation mark out, just click enter, and it gives you a total view of everything you need for your HTML head. That's just my front.
Okay, we that are using phone, how will you click it, the thing will show?
You have to write it out one by one. If you're using for.
Okay, okay.
To Chuku, I explained the box formation thing to the end. Probably the record will be available in case you don't understand anything. Does anybody have any other question for me? Any other question at all? Nobody has question. I haven't seen the last record. Are you serious? I saw the record on the group yesterday. Though. Emmanuel, what's your question?
Please, I just want you to touch the place you said talked about your measurement, adapting to any screen, whether
So
laptop or
I can't
phone.
hear you
I
clearly.
just
I
want
can't hear
to
you clearly. Sorry.
can you hear me?
Yeah, a
Uh,
bit. I'm struggling. But come on. What's the question?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Ah, that's much better.
Hello?
Yes, that's much better.
Okay. I said where you were talking about your code adapting to any screen, like to set your this thing, your to adapt to any screen, whether phone or laptop. I didn't really get it. So I don't know whether you can just go back and, you know, stretch it a little, please.
Okay, for you to make your page adapt to different screen sizes, you have to use what we call media queries. So with media queries, we can establish a certain um, a certain width that we're trying to look at. So if you look at this part now that I'm highlighting, the width I'm looking at is 400 pixels. So anything that's maximum width of 400 pixels. So anything below 400 pixels the styling inside it will take effect. Anything below 400 pixels, the styling inside it take effect. That's the same thing with this. But this one is it works within a minimum width of 401 pixel, a minimum width of 401 pixel, and a maximum width of 1024 pixel. So whenever the screen that is visiting this site is within this size of 1024 pixel to 401 pixel, whatever styling that is inside will take effect. That's basically how it works. For you to style something at different screen size, we use what we call media queries, which is this at media. Then we state the screen size the same way I just did it. And then we open our curly braces and we write our CSS code. So that's basically how it works. So I hope you understand, Emmanuel. But I think with this my explanation, once you get the record, definitely you will understand. John B, you have a question.
Uh, Can you can you hear
Yes,
me?
I
Can you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. What's the question?
Okay, I wanted to ask you something. There was a time you did something. You did the weight. You added the weight of
I
maybe
can't hear you.
each
I
of.
can't hear you. I can't hear you.
You can't hear me or you can hear me.
Sorry?
Can you hear me?
Your voice is breaking. That's the problem. I can hear you, but your voice is breaking in between.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay. There was a time you did something like you did for each of those elements. You gave them width 30%.
Mm-hmm.
Does it mean that that 30% automatically is responsive, or if we want to do for the responsive part, we still have to touch it?
No, that 30% does not mean it's responsive. That 30% just means that whatever container that we put all our main tags inside, by default, the container is 100%. Anything we create on our HTML by default has a width of 100%. So anything we're putting inside it is definitely taken from that width of that 100%. So if I have five H1 tag inside my main tag now, it means that each of my H1 tag is allocated to 20% if I'm looking for the core size. But initially, it's not going to be administered that 20% until you give it that 20%. So what makes it responsive is actually the flex wrap effect, meaning that this flex wrap effect that I gave it here, that's my article, this styling. What this does is that it checks that if I give if the every like every tag in my article tag has a width of 23%, it takes up this width, and whenever it gets to the end and says that okay, this thing cannot enter the same 100% again, this flex wraps, it helps you to break it down into the next line, and like that it just keeps on going and going and going and going and going. So that's basically how it works. So giving this a width is dependent on the container it is in. This is the container tag. This main tag is inside this main article tag. So I'm giving each of these main tag that's inside the article tag a width of 23%. So being that the container tag has a default width of 100%, this main tag will take 23% until it exhausts the amount of main tag present in that container. So it keeps on taking 23%. So if it gets to the end of the 100%, probably now, how many 23% to enter 100%? Let's say five, no, four. 4 23% is going to enter 100%. Means that once I have four main tag already in one line in my article tag, it just breaks to the next line and takes up the 23% again and keeps on going. So what makes it break into the next line and be responsive is the flex wrap that I have here. That's basically it. On John B, the mark still up. Oh, this is funny. Who is this joining class at this time? Anthony, I'm taking this is the last question as we have reached our time. So what's your question?
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Someone was asking question, so I think I have and I've experienced that, and I want to share to him how we can go about it. He said that most of the recording is blur. So yeah, if you're watching, then you can't be seeing them clearly.
Are you serious?
So yeah, how you will do it in YouTube is if someone is with phone, let the person just click the setting sign at the right top of his phone, that is in YouTube. Once he click it will open and it will show quality. Just click the quality to tell you to choose high or low. So you will choose high, the thing will be very clear.
All right. Thank you so
Hello?
much, Anthony, for sharing that. I believe everybody heard you. Thank you so much for sharing that. So Chubi, you want to say something?
Okay, no, I was just thanking him for his suggestion. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
For his
It's a very
advice.
simple
Yeah.
thing. If your YouTube video is blur, you can change the quality, your video quality. You increase it to I think 720 pixels is okay. Or you can take it to 1028 or 4K HD. Whichever one that makes it look clear. And that applies to all YouTube video you are watching. If it's not clear, you just click on that setting icon at the top bottom right of your at the bottom right. What did I say? Top bottom right. At the bottom right of your YouTube frame. Click on the setting icon, click on video quality. Then you select the video quality you want so it can increase the quality of your video, basically. So thank you all for attending today. This is the end of our CSS class. We are jumping into JavaScript come Tuesday. So I hope you guys are pumped for it. We're only 18 from 70 something, but it is where we're still going to learn JavaScript. We're going to still learn JavaScript and we are going to even learn a touch of React. So just hold on there. It's not easy to be consistent, but keep it up. Hold on there. It always pays at the end of the day. It always pays at the end of the day. Just keep pushing. Push yourself. Push yourself. It's not easy to start and finish a boot camp, trust me. And the only way you can come out of this boot camp and show evidence that I attended this boot camp is if your attendance matched up to 70%, you are doing your assignments, and basically you'll be building a final project and you'll be offered a certificate, which is going to be a very good touch to your resume. So let's try to keep up, let's try to keep pushing, let's try to keep our commitment and consistency. It's better to go in smalls than to try to pack it once. If you don't understand this class, we can set another time to watch it little by little. Let's hold on there. It's not easy. Just I'm begging all of you to be successful. It's not easy. Just keep being consistent. Consistency itself is hard. It's hard like mad. To be consistent is very, very difficult. But once you can conquer that art of being consistent, trust me, sky is your limit because there's nothing you'll not be able to do. So let's hold on there. And I'll see you all on Tuesday for our JavaScript introduction class. Thank you all for attending. You can now leave the meeting.
Thank you, sir.